So forget everything after hello? The Dragon Age The Veilguard gameplay trailer just went live. We got 20 minutes of goodness, and we're going to have to talk about this one. Let's go. So the trailer opens with us walking into the city on a quest to find Neve Gallus. One of the first things I noticed was the amount of people shown in the trailer. It looks like a big and bustling city. There was also a prompt to interact with the beggar. And that's the kind of stuff that I love, because I want to see that interaction. I want to see a city filled with people. Not just a big city with just a here and there NPC. No, I want to see a bustling city, and this is definitely what was shown here. The floating castle in the sky turns out to be some kind of overwatch and battle station, as it highlights a criminal first and would later engage the terrors in the Veil along with the demons that spawn from them. Somehow this section over here makes me think of the opening of Mass Effect 3, and that is not a bad thing. The gameplay that moves very seamlessly into the narrative-driven storyline with no real jitter. I hope they can hide the transitions from gameplay to narrative as well as they did in this trailer throughout the game. The conversation wheel is a classic, and it returns with the token comments ranging from positive, emotional, to rude and to the point in this case.
We're good, but we need to move.
Agreed. Solas isn't waiting, neither can we.
Have you got my gear?
Of course, gear makes an obvious return, something that you've probably had to stow for a quest earlier in the game. And conversations are shaped up by the background that you choose. In this case, it would be the Shadow Dragons, and you hear them talk about that throughout this trailer as well, and right here.
Can you get us there, Harding?
Rook, you're with the Shadow Dragons. I figured you'd know Minrathous better than I do.
The transition back to the gameplay after the scripting scene is definitely a little bit more jarring here, but I suppose that is something that just can't be helped. Fighting seems to yield currency from defeated demons, and using a ranged weapon consumes an arrow which returns to inventory after a certain period of inactivity. Likely to stop people from cheesing enemies from afar. You have to get up close and personal now. Evade movements are stylish and honestly a little bit over the top here in my opinion. The rats running away from danger is a nice touch here. We also see the player heal and then replenish his healing potion. You will see these casks come back in the later game as well, and they always seem to have the healing potion inside of them. This is played on a console, and it looks like the D-pad can be mapped or is mapped to the healing potion here. Venatori are front and center in the trailer, although the Fey Demons don't care for them here at all. When a ranged enemy locks onto you, it is shown where the danger is coming from, and there is an option to block, which apparently sends at least some of the damage back to the sender. Here the option to evade a range attack is shown, and with 3 locking on, the color change from lock to damage coming your way is clear to see. After getting hit here, there seems to be a brief lingering effect, alongside a level up notification. Later the ability wheel is shown, which pauses gameplay so you can make a proper decision. So I like this game mechanic as it lowers the barrier of entry. You can select targets in range, navigate to the ability which shows the cost and effects, and then select it for immediate execution. Regular attacks fill the ability bar back up, so those abilities can be used again. The transition to Neve's introduction is again one that is very well done. It also shows she can take care of her own, turning Venatori into freaking popsicles. The Shadow Dragon background again comes up in conversation here.
Neve, meet Rook. Both of you have done some work for the Shadow Dragons.
Isn't that a coincidence?
So there's pretty much no doubt in my mind that your background is going to have very big consequences when the game progresses. It's going to come up in conversation, but it also is going to probably lock you out of certain ways to doing things, which I think is very cool. So the conversation wheel returns again, and at this time it shows positive, humor, or rude and to the point comments. It looks like this particular Rook does not want any idle chit-chat.
You get right to the point.
So Neve really is showing kind of a stoic attitude towards things, and it makes me think of Morrigan for some reason. I don't know why, but she does. As the party moves through a portal and closer to Solas, more demons show up which have a defense buff that needs to be taken down before the health bar goes. One of the demons uses magic, which seems to be able to recharge their own magic barrier over time. Later, a pride demon shows up which has both a shield and a magic barrier that needs to be taken down. The ability wheel pops up again and it shows the ability to control the 2 companions you have. Dragon Age, the Veilguard will only have 2 companions instead of the 3 that you could take with you previously. Not a big problem for me because I am a bigger fan of Mass Effect and that's the Mass Effect way of doing things. And I already had Mass Effect 3 vibes in the beginning of the trailer, so it's all good news for me here. But it is something that you're going to have to take away and probably change your playstyle. For me too, because I always like to have 2 tanks, a magician and a rogue, and mage, come on, and a rogue and magician. Anyway, so it's going to change things around for you, for sure. One of the cool things here is that the Pride Demon actually manages to dodge this special attack by the Rook here, which is very interesting. Throughout the fight, archery is in full display, requiring the manual aiming and the depletion of arrows, which again highlights that you won't be able to cheese your way through these fights. And I kind of think this is a bummer because I am known for cheesing enemies at a distance, even though I play warrior classes. But you know, it is what it is. I'll just change my playstyle accordingly. I could play a mage, but for some reason I don't really like mages that much. I like to play with a sword and bow and arrow kind of thing, but I also like to be tanky, and I can't select a rogue for that because rogues tend to not have very high armor stats. Oh man, the decisions that you have to make in order to play that the way that you want to. I enjoyed that though. That's one of those things that I love Dragon Age and Mass Effect for. So the choices that you make, you limit yourself, but you also have fun that way as well. It's a double-edged sword, really.
Varric, Solas isn't gonna stop just because an old friend asks nicely.
Solas needs someone to sell him another option, to help him justify changing his mind.
And the conversation choices again rear their head later on, highlighting that your conversation choice has consequences. In this case, Rook chose very well if Harding is on his romance list, because she is indeed romanceable. And for some reason, I've always liked Harding in Inquisition, so I think I'm gonna like her here too. And she's voiced by Liara, so that's like, yeah. There was one point in the trailer where she was kind of in the background. She was saying something. I'm like, Liara?
Even if his ritual kills us all in the process.
Of course it's not Liara. It's freaking Harding. Get your head out of Mass Effect, dude.
Rook, take care of the team for me.
Now here's where I start to get a little bit iffy. You know, if people start saying this kind of stuff, I'm like, dude, are you expecting to not come back from this, Varric? Don't do that to me, dude. Because you're my boy. I like you. And my wife really likes you, and she's probably going to be pissed because, again, not romanceable? Come on. Come on. And if you do permadeath on that character, my wife is really going to get pissed because she loves Varric. And one of the concerns that I had is completely taken away here. Solas definitely looks like Solas. They didn't mess with him too much, and he shows his power off perfectly. And then a little bit later, something else that I'm like, dude, why are you doing this? I know why you're doing this, because you're BioWare. That's what you do. But these choices, man?
Fine, but you'll need backup. I'm with you.
I'm a mage. I'll go.
Either way, someone needs to stay back and deal with the demons.
Permanent character death has always been part of BioWare games, so your choices need to be based on the best choice, not because you want to romance a certain character. While choosing Harding here gets you a +1, major +1 Harding points. Rook messed up by picking her, in my opinion. This is a magic issue, and Neve is the mage, so the proper choice is her. And this scene here had me going, uh-oh, Harding's gone. And the camera just unapologetically moves to follow the Rook and just leaves her there on the ground. I go, dude, that's just such an evil way to do her like that. I mean, she might have survived. I don't know. There was this picture on Instagram. Was it Instagram or was it X? I can't remember, but I'll show it here. What shows her being completely messed up, and that might be your fault here. That might be your fault because you took her instead of Neve. And that's probably the reason why I always tell people to save often, because if you don't save often, you end up in situations where you make the wrong choice, like presumably here, and you end up with losing hours worth of gameplay, and that's going to be, well, something that I usually stop a game and I'll play it again the next day or maybe in a few hours if I'm really obsessing over the game, because I need to take a little bit of a chill pill after that, because I get mad at myself for not saving often, and that would be one of those things that I'm like, oh my god, I made the wrong decision, let me just replay this bit and do it the way that it's supposed to be in my mind, alright, because was not what I was expecting. And the ending of the trailer shows Solas looking concerned in a what have I done way, and then the trailer ends. So the conclusion, I'm on board again. The gameplay feels like Dragon Age, even though it looks really, really bright and really, really colorful. It doesn't really have that doom and gloom, but this is only one stage. There's things that they shown on X that really do have that doom and gloom look. And of course, they did show our scout here completely battered. And she's romanceable, and if they add romance, it's probably going to have that 17 plus rating. Now I really wonder what you guys thought. Is this game going to be on your list again after this trailer? Let me know in the comment section below. Keep that conversation going. As always, hashtag game for the sake of gaming, and I will see you guys on the flip side. Even though this guy over here still looks like a freaking Pixar character. Super happy that he was not in the trailer, because I don't like him at all. I'm probably going to keep him out of my party because I don't want to see his face in my freaking cutscenes. He's still freaking horrible. Maybe they'll fix him and kind of make him look a little bit more normal, because he's just really the odd necromancer out here. I just had to say that. Take care.